Let's go back to February 10th of 2005. This is then Senator Barack Obama going after George Bush for staking his domestic policy agenda on Social Security reform and not Medicare. Listen to what he said.
Despite the president staking his domestic policy agenda in his second term on Social Security reform,
well, it's going bankrupt.
The real crisis in terms of funding is not Social Security, it's Medicare. Which is breaking down rapidly. And this most recent piece of legislation exacerbates that fiscal crisis. And that's something that, for some reason, the president seems entirely unwilling to tackle.
Who cut Medicare $750 billion? Barack Hussein Obama. He did it. I mean, the fact that they're saying seniors will be kicked out on the street and you don't care about the poor or the elderly. It's pretty amazing. All right, let's get to our busy telephones. Jamar in Minneapolis and Minnesota, Sean Hannity Show. What's up, Jamar? How are you?
I'm fine, Sean. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
You know what? As a Democrat, we're simply chomping at the bit. We're very glad to rhyme with the pick. The president did a very good job months ago linking these two guys together. Mm-hmm. Now there seems a bit of dissension among the ranks.
No dissension. Let me ask you a question. If Medicare is the issue, where's your criticism of Obama cutting $750 billion in Medicare? There's only one candidate that cut Medicare, and that's the president.
Sean, the Ryan plan does the same exact thing.
I asked you about the president. The only one person in this race that has cut Medicare. Who is it?
Well, you say it's the president.
Not the matter if I say. What factually, who is the one person that did it?
Okay, the president.
All right, thank you. So, I mean, it's really shouldn't even be an issue at this point. You know, one of the things we did was we went back a little bit in time and, how does the media respond anytime a conservative is chosen to be vice president? And, for example, remember when Dan Quayle was selected by George Herbert Walker Bush? The negative media coverage then was overwhelming, beginning with Ted Koppel, finishing with Chris Matthews and Mike Wallace.
Quayle and his supporters throw a protective arm around the National Guard as though the institution itself were under attack. It, of course, is not. He and his apparent mediocrity and hypocrisy are.
Indeed, at today's rally in a Dayton, Ohio suburb, Quayle's pro-defense rhetoric was almost comical.
So now, a young man who got a long way in life on the kindness and power of family and friends must now convince voters he is qualified to be vice president, only a step away from the presidency.
The minute he speaks his own mind, he reminds us of why Lady Di isn't allowed to talk. The guy has nothing to say, and when he speaks, it's frightening.
We try to report objectively, and so I'm a little reluctant to say it. I find it very difficult to believe that eventually, conceivably, Dan Quayle would sit down and negotiate with Mikhail Gorbachev. Doesn't seem to make sense.
Of course, the liberal media knows better. Now, even when Dick Cheney was announced as George W. Bush's vice president, well, here was the media reaction then.
Past votes in Congress are prompting new questions about Dick Cheney and whether, as some say, they show he's too outside the American mainstream for voters in the year 2000.
Dick Cheney was a member of the Republican establishment in Washington for a long time. As a congressman, he represented the largely conservative views of voters in Wyoming. It is on his voting record that Democrats hope they can capitalize.
A close look at his 10 years in Congress reveals that Cheney was one of its most conservative members, say analysts who have looked at his record.
Cheney's politics are of the hard right variety.
Hard right.
He's opposed to abortion and gun control and favors both capital punishment and school prayer.
He voted against a ban on cop-killer bullets. He voted against waiting period. And here's the interesting one. He voted against the ban on plastic guns, which could slip through airport metal detectors. Even the NRA. Was for that.
Even the NRA.
And there were only four people in the Congress who voted against it. So he was purer than the National Rifle Association on that issue.
Hard right winger.
When you talk about votes like that he made while in Congress, anti-affirmative action, anti-abortion, anti-gun control, anti-equal rights, how does George Bush portray him as a compassionate conservative?
Wow. Pretty amazing. Then we can go to Governor Palin. And, of course, Governor Palin, oh, boy, we know what happened there.
The criticism of Governor Palin is that she was a brilliant marketing choice for the campaign, but she's not well-versed on the economy or foreign affairs. In your judgment, can you see her as President of the United States?
Absolutely.
As President of the United States?
Absolutely.
The whole Republican convention, I was told, and was reporting for the magazine and on the web, was going to be the slogan, "He's not ready to lead," meaning Barack Obama. Well, Sarah Palin makes Barack Obama look like John Adams. I mean, it's no contest.
And if the media reaction is anything, it's been literally laughter in many places across newsrooms. In very many newsrooms.
But the fact of the matter is the comparison between her and Hillary Clinton is the comparison between an igloo and the Empire State Building.
If John McCain wins, this woman will be one 72-year-old's heartbeat away from being President of the United States. And if that doesn't scare the hell out of you, it should.
Any doubt there is a liberal media in the country? It's interesting to go back and hear all that, isn't it?